Welcome to the American Accent course. I'm Lisa Moisen. In the following lessons, you're going to learn the correct rhythm and intonation and melody of American English. It's the music of language, and it's one of the most important things that you need to know to have a good American accent. I would say it's probably even more important than learning correct vowel and consonant pronunciation. In some languages, the words sound flat, and each word is pronounced the same way, and each syllable is pronounced the same way. If you're speaking English quickly and you're speaking with that kind of rhythm and melody, people will have a really hard time understanding you. On the other hand, if you're stressing the wrong syllable or stressing the wrong word and your music is different than it is with an American accent, once again, your speech will be very difficult to understand. So in the following lessons, you're going to learn all of the major rules that you need to know so that you can have the natural sounding rhythm and melody of American English. Let me show you how this works. For example, if we have 5 words, it's nice to meet you. 5 different words. There is one word that we should stress more than the other one, and it would be, it's nice to meet you. So this word would be higher up here. It's nice to meet you. It's nice to meet you. When we stress a word, we make the word louder and longer and higher in pitch. Repeat after me. It's nice to meet you. Now, if you make a mistake and you stress the wrong word, for example, it's nice to meet you, or it's nice to meet you, and you're speaking quickly, as you can see, this can be a big problem and people will have a hard time understanding you. In the first several videos, you're going to learn about the stress of syllables. After that, you will learn about word stress within sentences. And finally, in the last part, you will learn about intonation, which is the pitch going up or the pitch going down. Do we say it's nice to meet you, or do we say it's nice to meet you? There are some specific rules you need to know about that. What I recommend is, as soon as you learn these rules, I want you to find something to read it out loud, and also record your voice. And then analyze your voice and ask yourself if you're stressing the right part of the word and the right part of the sentence according to the rules that you're going to learn in these videos. Keep recording your voice over and over again and practicing these rules, and you will very soon have a very good American accent. Okay, let's get started. Let's talk about syllable stress. A syllable is a small unit of speech that has one vowel and sometimes a vowel and a consonant together. If you have 2 separate vowel sounds, that would be 2 separate syllables. Let's take a look at some words. For example, the word seat. We have 2 vowels, but these 2 vowels represent only one sound. It's E, seat. Therefore, this word has only one syllable, and we don't have to worry about which syllable is stressed because it's only one word and one syllable. Let's take a look at this one. This also has 2 letters, but in this case, the 2 vowels have different sounds. It's not E or A, it's I-ye, science. We break up the word right here in the middle, and we have one vowel on this side and one vowel on that side, and we say science. In this case, we need to ask ourselves which syllable is stressed. If you look in your dictionary, you will see a little accent mark like this in front of the syllable that should be stressed. In this case, it's the first one. It would be science. If this mark were located over here, the pronunciation would have to be science. And of course, we don't say science, we say science. Now, when you have a long word like this, audiovisual, audiovisual has 6 syllables, audiovisual. In that case, it's very important to know which syllable is stressed. In this case, it's going to be right here, audio-visual. Audio-visual. How do we stress a syllable? We make it longer and louder and higher in pitch. Audio-visual. Now, let me demonstrate to you what can happen if you make a mistake with stressing the wrong syllable. Let's look at the word success. Now, do we say success or do we say success? If you're speaking quickly and you stress the wrong syllable, definitely your words are going to be difficult to understand. So in this case, we stress the second part and we say success. I wish you success. We don't say I wish you success. Another example, the word urban. We don't say urban, we say urban. Repeat after me. Urban, we stress this part and we reduce this part. If you say urban, once again, it sounds like a completely different word. It's very important to know which syllables should be stressed when you're speaking English. Right now, I'm going to give you a little test. There are going to be some words on this board, and I want you to ask yourself which syllable should be stressed. Take a look at these words on the screen and decide which syllable you think should be stressed. You can copy these words on a page and then underline the letters that you think should be stressed. Let's see how you did on the syllable stress test. Let's take a look at the first word. Did you say decade or did you say decade? Is it first syllable or second syllable? Well, it's the first one. It's decade. Repeat, in the next decade. All right, a lot of people make a mistake and they say decade. Let's take a look at a few more words. The second one, did you say colleague or colleague? He's my colleague? That's right. Once again, it's the first syllable. Repeat after me. Colleague. Colleague. He's my new colleague. Let's look at the next one. Did you say female or did you say female? Once again, it's the first one. Female. Let's look at the next one. Did you say Japan or Japan? In this case, it's the second syllable. I'm from Japan. I'm from Japan. Let's take a look at the next one. Did you say Iran or Iran? It should be the second one. He's from Iran. He's from Iran. Let's look at the next one. Is it locate or locate? It's the first one again. It's locate. Locate. Be careful. A lot of people say locate because they're thinking of the word location. Sometimes when we change the form of the verb from a verb to a noun or to an adjective, the stress within the word changes. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's look at the next one. Did you say detail or detail? If it's a noun, we say detail. That's an interesting detail. First syllable stress. This is a hard word. A lot of my students make a mistake on this one. A lot of them say something like parenthesis, and it's actually the second syllable. It's parenthesis. Parenthesis. Next one, these can be confusing for a lot of people. How did you say this one? Is it necessary, necessary, or necessary? It's the first one. Necessary. Let's do the last one. Necessity. In this case, it's the second one. If you have a lot of these wrong, don't be discouraged. These are very common words that people make mistakes on. Many of my students get the majority of these words wrong. I wanted to show you how difficult syllable stress is and how important it is for you to be motivated to study these things in detail. In the following lessons, I will teach you some rules of syllable stress. All right, let's learn some rules now. learn some rules for syllable stress with words with 2 syllables. Here's a rule. If the word is a noun, 90% of the time the first syllable is stressed when there are 2 syllables. For example, office, problem, window, paper, building, mother, father. If it's a verb, about 60 to 70% of the time, the second syllable is stressed. For example, apply, agree, create, relax, complain, enjoy. So these are some guidelines. Let's take a look at some words. Is this word pronounced record or is this word pronounced record? It depends on if it's a noun or a verb. I would like to get the new record. Record, first syllable. He broke the world record. But I would like to record that movie. I would like to record my voice. If it's a verb, we get the second syllable. If it's a noun, we get the first syllable. How about this one? Do we say object or do we say object? Again, it depends on if it's a verb or a noun. Object is a noun. That's an interesting object. Or verb, object. I object to your decision. Let's practice some sentences now. I hope to progress. I hope to progress. You're making good progress. You're making good progress. Did he insult him? Did he insult him? Yes, I heard the insult. Yes, I heard the insult. Do you like that object? Do you like that object? No, I object to it. No, I object to it. Is there a conflict between them? Is there a conflict between them? Yes, those two always conflict. Yes, those two always conflict. I want to present you to my family. I want to present you to my family. I will bring them a nice present. I will bring them a nice present. Do you have the insert? Do you have the insert? Where should I insert it? Where should I insert it? Do you recall it? Do you recall it? No, I have no recall of it. No, I have no recall of it. Be careful, it could be that in your language, generally just the first syllable is stressed or the last one is. In that case, pay special attention to this and practice. Let's learn another rule about how syllables are pronounced. We're going to learn about words that end in ATE. As you can see, all three of these words have ATE endings. How do we pronounce this word? Do we say graduate or do we say graduate? Do we say ate or do we say it? Once again, it depends on what kind of word it is. If it's a verb, we fully pronounce ate, and it kind of sounds like the number 8. Graduate. I would like to graduate from college. I will graduate soon. However, If it's an adjective or a noun, then this is reduced and it kind of sounds like it or et. For example, graduate, graduate. He is a college graduate. Or I'm going to graduate school. Look at the next one. This can be a verb. In that case, it's pronounced as estimate. I would like to estimate the cost of this. Or estimate, if it's a noun. Please give me an estimate of the cost. Let's look at this word. How should we say it if it's a verb? You try it. Articulate, right? To articulate. To articulate means to say something really well and really clearly. I would like to articulate it. And we have an adjective equivalent. Articulate. He's a very articulate man. It means he speaks clearly and he speaks well. So if it's a verb, we say ate, and if it's a noun or an adjective, we reduce this ate and we say it. Separate. Separate, separate. Approximate, approximate. Let's practice some more verbs that end with ate. Repeat after me. Negotiate, abbreviate, calculate, nominate, donate. Let's practice some nouns and some adjectives. Delicate. Don't say delicate. That's a very common mistake. Chocolate. A lot of my students say chocolate. It's chocolate because it's a noun. Accurate. Affectionate. Intimate. All right, let's practice some sentences now. Did he graduate from college? Did he graduate from college? Yes, and now he's in graduate school working on his PhD. Yes, and now he's in graduate school working on his PhD. I will calculate it and give you an estimate. I will calculate it and give you an estimate. I don't think that number is accurate. I don't think that number is accurate. I think you're exaggerating the amount. I think you're exaggerating the amount. That's just an approximate estimate. That's just an approximate estimate. Thanks for the chocolate. Thanks for the chocolate. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Remember, ate if it's a verb and it if it's a noun or adjective. Let's learn some more rules now about syllable stress. I will give you some formulas that will help you know which words to stress. But keep in mind, as I told you earlier, there are so many exceptions that it's very important for you to study them on your own and to just look up words that are new for you. But here are some guidelines I can give you regarding syllable stress and suffixes. A suffix is something that goes at the end of the word. For example, quick, quickly. That ly is a suffix. It's an ending. Here are some rules regarding suffixes. If the word ends with ese, we stress the suffix. For example, Chinese. We don't say Chinese, we say Chinese. Japanese. Portuguese. All right, here's another rule. If the word ends with EER, we stress the suffix. For example, pioneer, volunteer, engineer, We don't say engineer, we say engineer. Another rule. If the word ends with I-Q-U-E, we stress the suffix. Antique, boutique, critique, technique. Listen, technical, technique. It changes. Critical, critique. Let's learn another rule. This one has many, many words that end in IC. In this case, we don't stress the suffix, but we stress the syllable immediately before the suffix. Realistic. We don't say realistic. We don't say realistic. We say realistic. Electric. Electricity, electric. Strategic. We say strategy or strategic. Optimistic. Terrific. Pacific. Remember, the syllable before the IC gets stressed. These are some important rules that I believe will help you as you're trying to learn which syllable you're supposed to stress. Let's see how they change when we change it from a noun to an adjective. Listen to the syllable stress changes. Origin, original. Industry, industrial. Memory, memorial. Finance, financial. President, presidential. Keep listening carefully to the way native speakers pronounce words, and you will instinctively develop the ability to figure out which syllable is supposed to be stressed. Now, let's look at what happens to syllables which are not stressed. Look at these words right here. They all have something in common. They all end in a vowel and an M. A-M, E-M, O-M, and U-M. The other thing these words have in common is that the first syllable is stressed and the second syllable is reduced. In some languages, each vowel is pronounced the same way. In some languages, they say ma-dam, ah. In English, remember, syllable stress is extremely important. The syllable that we stress is longer and louder and higher in pitch. Therefore, this A is going to be louder. It's going to be ah. Madam, madam. And this A is going to be completely different from this A. They're two different sounds because one vowel is stressed and one vowel is reduced. Madam. Look at the EM of the word problem. The first syllable is stressed, and the EM will sound exactly the same as the AM of the word madam. Listen, madam, problem. This is and this is also because they're both reduced syllables. Repeat after me. Madam, problem, symptom, album. Don't say madame, problème, symptôme, album. In some languages, you fully pronounce each vowel. In English, we reduce and we stress. It's very important to know which syllable is stressed so that you know what to do with the reduced syllables. Let's look at another example. Look at these three words: o'clock, doctor, and photography. These three words have something in common. Each word has two O's. O, O, O. There are 6 O's here. Look at the first word. This syllable is reduced in this case. The first syllable is reduced. The second syllable is stressed. So this one disappears and becomes this sound, So we say o'clock. We don't say o'clock. We say o'clock. How about this one? Do we say doctor or doctor? No, we don't. We stress the first syllable, we reduce the second. Therefore, these two O's are also going to be completely different. Doctor. How about this one? We stress the second syllable. We say photography. This O also is reduced and also becomes this symbol. Photography. Photography. Repeat after me. A clock. Doctor. Photography. Let's look at one more word. Atom, atom. Exactly the same pronunciation. This syllable is stressed. This syllable is stressed. This O is reduced. This A is reduced. Therefore, they are the same sound. And remember, T between two vowels sounds exactly like the D. Atom, atom. Let's practice a few more words that sound exactly the same, but they're spelled slightly differently. Lesson, lesson. I'm learning a new lesson, and I would like to lessen it. To lessen means to reduce. Caller, caller. A caller can be someone who calls you on the phone. You have a caller. Or, this is the collar of my jacket. Profit, profit. I would like to make a profit, meaning making money. Or, he is a prophet, a religious person or someone who sees the future. Let's try one more. Seller, seller. A seller is someone who sells something, kind of like a salesman, and the cellar is a room under your house. All right, now you're going to see some words on the board, and I want you to ask yourself, which syllable do you think is stressed? And then I would like you to reduce the other syllables and make the sound like this. Let's take a look at some words now. I would like you to take a few moments and to decide which syllable you think should be stressed and which vowels you think should be reduced and sound like Let's see how you did with these words. Look at the first word, economy. The second syllable is stressed, therefore this E and this O are reduced. We don't say economy, we say economy, economy. Look at this one. The second syllable is reduced, the first syllable is stressed. We don't say memory, we say memory. Repeat after me. Memory. Look at the next one. Do we say control or do we say control? We say control. Second syllable is stressed. The first O is reduced. Con. Repeat after me. Con. Control. The next one is the same. This O is reduced. Con. This syllable is stressed. Contain. Repeat. Contain. Let's look at this one. This is a commonly confused word by a lot of people. Develop. Second syllable is stressed. This is reduced. This is reduced. Develop. Once in a while you will hear people say develop, or they might say economy, but for the most part, generally people just say economy, develop. What do we say? Europe or Europe? I'm from Europe. Don't say I'm from Europe. This is stressed. The O, once again, is reduced. Repeat. Europe. How about this one? This is the most stressed syllable right here, the A. Information. So we don't say infor, and we don't say mation. We don't say information. We say information. Once again, information. And the final word, Once again, the second syllable is stressed. The O and the IA are both reduced, so it's not com or com, it's cum. Commercial. Don't say commercial or commercial, it's O. Commercial. All right, let's practice these words again really quickly. Economy, memory, control, contain, develop, Europe, information, commercial. The more you listen to spoken English, the better your syllable stress and syllable reduction are going to get, because these words are going to become more familiar to you and you will automatically get a feeling for which syllables you're supposed to stress. Also, remember to always write down new words if you're not sure which syllable to stress. And then ask a native speaker to read them for you. And the more you do this, the better your syllable stress and reduction will get. Now, let's learn the rules of word stress. Just like we stress certain syllables in words, there are certain words that we have to stress in sentences. This is really important to learn because this is what creates the natural music and rhythm of American English. And it's a really important skill to master to have a good accent. Let's take a look at this. Look at this sentence. I will be driving to the market to buy something to eat. If you notice, I underlined 4 words. I underlined the verb and the noun and the verb and the verb. These words are called content words. Content words are the words that carry the most meaning of a sentence. If we eliminated all of the other words here, and if we only said the underlined words, driving, market, buy, eat, you would still understand what the speaker was trying to say, wouldn't you? Content words carry the general meaning. The other words around the content words are called function words. They're the little words that are not absolutely necessary to the meaning of the sentence. Generally, content words are nouns, such as house, book, dog, man. Verbs, which are action words, such as go, eat, sleep, drive, think, understand. They are adverbs, such as carefully, clearly, well, soon, now. And adjectives, such as tall, short, good, bad, difficult, easy. These are the words that carry the most meaning. Let's take a look at this sentence again, and let's read the sentence, emphasizing the content words. I will be driving to the market to buy something to eat. I will be driving to the market to buy something to eat. Let's try to outline what this looks like. I will be driving to the market. You're going to jump up the staircase, go higher to buy something, and then something is also going to be reduced to buy something to eat. I will be driving to the market to buy something to eat. Let's do it again. I will be driving to the market to buy something to eat. That's the rhythm of English. Let me teach you a few rules about that. When we have 2 content words, generally the second word gets more stress. For example, I got a job. Got is a verb, job is a noun. They're both content words, but job gets more stress because it's a second word. I got a new job. I got a job. I got a great job. Do me a favor. Do is important, but favor gets more stress because it comes at the end. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. See you later. What do we say? Do we say, see you later? Or do we say, see you later? Let's try a few more. Let's go for a walk. Walk is going to get the stress. Let's go for a walk. Let's go for a walk. Go gets some stress, but walk gets a lot more stress. Okay, one more sentence. Did you do your homework? Did you do your homework? Repeat after me. Did you do your homework? Let's compare two sentences now. Repeat after me. Did you get it? Did you get the job? If you notice, in the first sentence, I emphasized get, but I didn't emphasize it, because it is not a noun. It is a pronoun. In the second sentence, I said, did you get the job? Because job is a noun. So we reduce pronouns and we stress nouns. One more time. Did you get it? Did you get the job? Let's do a few more sentences like that. Did you see it? Did you see the film? Who stole it? Who stole my money? Who stole my money? Now we're going to add another element at the end of the word, a few other words actually. Listen carefully. Who stole the money from me? From is a preposition, so we don't stress it. It's not a content word. It's a function word. And me is a pronoun. From me. So both of those words are reduced. Listen again. Who stole the money from me? One more. I was washing the dishes. I was washing the dishes for her. He's fixing the car. He's fixing the car for them. He's fixing the car for them. Take a look at the screen now. First, you will have a chance to try to figure it out on your own, and then you will see another screen after that with words in capital letters, and the capital letters represent the words that you're supposed to stress. Let's look at the correct answers now, and let's hear the correct word stress. I just got a new job. I'm so excited about it. I couldn't find one for a long time. Let's repeat that again. I just got a new job. I'm so excited about it. I couldn't find one for a long time. Let's look at the answers now. I'm working at the store. I'm selling women's shoes. I started working there last week. Repeat. I'm working at the store. I'm selling women's shoes. I started working there last week. All right, let's look at the answers again. On the first day, I was really nervous. There was so much to learn. On the first day, I was really nervous. There was so much to learn. Remember, when you stress a word, make it louder and longer, and don't put too much melody in it. Don't sing it. Don't say, have a nice day, or don't say, it's nice to meet you. Just jump up. It's nice to meet you. Have a nice day. Keep practicing. Let's talk about what happens when we have a long sentence and when there are a lot of content words in one sentence. Let's learn how to divide the sentences into what we call thought groups. Look at our sentence again. I will be driving to the market to buy something to eat. We have 4 different content words, but we can say we have 2 different thought groups. One of them is, I was driving to the market. That's a unit that can go together. I was driving to the market. And the second unit, or the second thought group, can be this sentence, to buy something to eat. I was driving to the market to buy something to eat. When you break up the sentence into thought groups, you need to decide which word is the most important word of that particular thought group. That most important word is called a focus word. In this sentence, I will be driving to the market. Market is the focus word. Usually the focus word is towards the end of the thought group. I was driving to the market. And then you can pause to buy something to eat. And eat is your second focus word. So this sentence has two focus words. Sometimes a sentence can have three. For example, I was driving to the market to get something to eat because I was very hungry. Hungry can be the third focus word. If your sentences are long, it's very important to divide them. How do you divide them? Just use your instinct. It's kind of a natural place to pause. You wouldn't, for example, say, I will be driving to. You wouldn't pause here, right? You would say, I will be driving to the market. So it's kind of logical. You can also pause here if you want to. I will be driving to the market. Listen, I will be driving to the market, or I will be driving to the market. You have a little bit of a choice of where you need to pause and where you break up the thought group. It depends on you. It depends on how quickly you want to speak. The important thing to remember is when you have a thought group, emphasize one key word the most. Let's try another sentence like that. I was watching a movie with my friends when suddenly it began to rain. Obviously, that's a really long sentence. If you don't put any melody in that sentence, if you don't stress any words in that sentence, that's going to be a hard sentence to understand. So let's break it up. I was watching a movie. That's your first thought group. The focus word would be movie. Repeat after me. I was watching a movie. With my friends. With my friends could be another thought group. I was watching a movie with my friends. Or, if you want to speak a little faster, you can say, I was watching a movie with my friends. I would personally prefer to pause. I was watching a movie with my friends. When suddenly it started to rain. When suddenly it started to rain. Rain would be your focus word. When suddenly it started to rain. Listen again to the whole sentence. I was watching a movie with my friends when suddenly it started to rain. All right, this creates a very nice rhythm, a very nice melody, and it makes your speech much easier to understand. Let's practice another sentence. I was so tired that I couldn't wait to get home. I was so tired that I couldn't wait to get home. That's three thought groups, or two thought groups. I was so tired that I couldn't wait to get home. It's kind of up to you. I prefer the second one in this case. I was so tired that I couldn't wait to get home. Let's practice some sentences now. If I forget to pay my bill, please remind me about it. In that sentence, we have two focus words, bill and remind. Let's read the sentence again. If I forget to pay my bill, please remind me about it. He wants to know if you need anything from the supermarket. He wants to know if you need anything from the supermarket. Did you know it was snowing in all parts of the East Coast? Did you know it was snowing in all parts of the East Coast? This last sentence can have two thought groups or three thought groups. When we climbed to the top of the mountain, we could see the ocean. Or two thought groups. When we climbed to the top of the mountain, we could see the ocean. When you have a longer sentence with several thought groups, make sure you find the focus word and stress that one the most. And remember, usually it's the last content word, usually a noun or a verb. Let's learn another rule about which words to stress. We will talk now about adjectives and nouns. Listen to this sentence. It's a hot day. Hot is an adjective, day is a noun. Which one sounds correct to you? It's a hot day or it's a hot day? Do we stress the adjective or do we stress the noun? In English, we stress the noun more. In a lot of languages, the adjective gets more stressed, and people say it's a hot day. In English, we say it's a hot day. You did a good job. I have blonde hair. So I don't say I have blonde hair. I say I have blonde hair. I'm wearing a black jacket. I'm wearing a black blouse and a black jacket. Listen to that rhythm of that sentence again. I'm wearing a black blouse and a black jacket. We emphasize the noun. That's a very important rule. If you say I'm wearing a black blouse and a black jacket, it sounds really strange to the people who are listening to you. It sounds like a foreign accent, and sometimes it may be difficult to understand, again, if you're speaking quickly. Let's practice some more. I have brown eyes. I have a nice job. I have an older brother. I went to a party and I had a good time. He has blue eyes. Take a minute now and describe some things about yourself, about your hair, about your eyes, about what you're wearing today. For example, I'm wearing black shoes. I'm wearing a gold ring. Describe yourself, emphasize the noun, not the adjective. If the adjective is alone, then we do stress it, of course. For example, he's tall. It's hot. That was good. But if we have a noun, then we say, he's a tall man. It's a hot day. That was a good job. Let's practice some more sentences now. That was fast. That was a fast flight. I have $5. I have $5. It's old. It's an older film. He's younger. He's my younger brother. That was great. I had a great time. I have an older brother and a younger sister. I have an older brother and a younger sister. She has brown hair and blue eyes. She has brown hair and blue eyes. That old lady has a little dog. That old lady has a little dog. My new car has 4 doors. My new car has 4 doors. I read a good book during the long flight. I read a good book during the long flight. What happens when we have 2 adjectives before a noun? For example, big black dog, angry old man, long hot shower. In that case, we emphasize the first adjective and the noun. Big black dog, angry old man, long hot shower. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing. Now we'll talk about how we stress compound nouns. Compound nouns are two words that represent one thing. For example, credit card. Credit card. Two words representing one object, we stress the first word. Repeat after me. Credit card. Also, say these two words as one word. Join them together. Don't say credit card. Say credit card. Let's practice some compound nouns. For example, let's talk about the eyes. Eyelid. We say eyelid. Eyebrow. Eyebrow. Forehead. Forehead. Earring. Earring. How about hair? Let's think of some compound nouns that have the word hair in it. Hairstyle sounds like hairstyle. Hair color sounds like hair color. Hairbrush, hairbrush. Hair salon, hair salon. Some words, things that are in your house, for example. Look around your house and ask yourself which compound nouns you see. For example, bookshelf, washing machine, laptop, window frame. How about some things that are in your purse or in your wallet? Driver's license, credit card, cell phone, car keys, chewing gum. All right, let's practice some sentences now. Please give me your phone number with the area code first. Please give me your phone number with the area code first. My house has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. My house has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. I got a headache from the loud rock music. I got a headache from the loud rock music. The police officer was on a motorcycle. The police officer was on a motorcycle. After their wedding day, they went on their honeymoon. After their wedding day, they went on their honeymoon. Don't put the newspaper in the trash can. Don't put the newspaper in the trash can. I bought a birthday present for my roommate. I bought a birthday present for my roommate. Remember, when it's an adjective plus noun, we stress the second word. We stress the noun. When we have 2 nouns together, compound noun, we stress the first word. Let's talk about the rules of stress for phrasal verbs. What is a phrasal verb? Well, pick is a verb, but if we say pick up, that's a phrasal verb. The meaning is very different. Break is a verb, but if we say break down is a phrasal verb. The meaning, again, is completely different. My car broke down is different from I broke the pencil. With phrasal verbs, we stress the second element, which is usually a preposition. So we say pick up. Break down, we say break down, emphasizing the second element. Sometimes the phrasal verb can have a pronoun or a noun in between, so we can say pick it up. We can say turn on, or we can say turn it on. We can say cross out, or we can say cross it out. Sometimes a phrasal verb has a noun equivalent. For example, work out can be a noun, and I can say workout. I had a great workout. In that case, we emphasize the first part. I had a workout. Listen, I want to work out. I had a great workout. Let's practice some sentences now with phrasal verbs, and after that, we'll learn a few more phrasal nouns. I found out about it. I found out about it. Can you look it over for me? Can you look it over for me? I'll think it over and I'll call you back. I'll think it over and I'll call you back. I can't figure out why it broke down. I can't figure out why it broke down. When he grew up, he moved out. When he grew up, he moved out. As we learned, if it's a phrasal verb, we stress the second part. We stress the preposition. And if it's a noun, we stress the first part. For example, make up, or I'm wearing makeup. I'd like to buy some new makeup. Another example is check up, or you can say checkup. I went to a doctor to get a medical checkup. Another one is break up or break up. They decided to break up, which means they decided to separate. It was a very painful breakup. You can say turn off, or you can say turn off. That's a real turn off. What does that mean? That's a real turn off. It's something you don't like, something you're not happy with, something that disgusts you. That's a turn off. One more example. You can say print out. I would like to print out the information. Or you can say, please give me the printout. Please give me the printout. Can you think of any more phrasal nouns and phrasal verbs? Let's learn the rules of stress for names of people and names of places. If the place has two words, we stress the second word. For example, South America, we say South America. United Kingdom, we say United Kingdom. Let's practice a few more places. Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Mexico City, South Africa, Central Park. Can you think of any other places that have two names in them? The same thing happens when we stress the names of people. We stress the last name, the second word. For example, George Washington, Barack Obama. When the name has three words, we stress the last word. For example, Martin Luther King, John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Let's practice some more names. Think of some actors that you like, some famous actors. For example, Julia Roberts, Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise. That's pretty simple, isn't it? All right, let's do some sentences for practice now. John Wilson and Bob Jones went to South America. John Wilson and Bob Jones went to South America. Central Park is in New York. Central Park is in New York. His father likes Bob Dylan, but his grandfather likes Frank Sinatra. His father likes Bob Dylan, but his grandfather likes Frank Sinatra. Barack Obama was elected President of the United States. Barack Obama was elected President of the United States. Is that Julia Roberts or Nicole Kidman? Is that Julia Roberts or Nicole Kidman? Remember, the final name gets the most stress. Let's talk about how we stress abbreviations and numbers. An abbreviation is a short version of longer names. For example, CNN, UCLA, PhD. The rule is we stress the last letter of an abbreviation. For example, CNN, UCLA, PhD. Let me show you how you need to do it. When you say CNN, make sure that you don't pronounce each letter separately. Try to say it as one word. Link it together. CNN, kind of like this. CNN, and then join them together. CNN, and then stress the last element. CNN. Repeat after me. CNN. Let's practice a few more. ASAP. Call me back ASAP. ASAP means as soon as possible. Okay? A few more. PC. HTML. DVD. CD. IQ. Can you think of any more? Sometimes people may ask you to spell your name if you have a name that they're not familiar with. Spell it the same way. Break it up and emphasize the last part. Imagine that your last name had 6 letters in it. For example, Parker. I would spell it like this. P-A-R-K-E-R. Repeat after me. P-A-R-K-E-R. We emphasize the last element. Try spelling your last name the same way. All right, now let's talk about numbers. Numbers work the same way. We generally emphasize the last element. For example, we say 37.99, 58, 812. Let's practice a telephone number. We would say area code 310-555-8239. Why don't you practice your telephone number and maybe some other important numbers in your life? For example, your birthday and your birth year, or an important holiday. For example, an important day in American history is July 4th, 1776. He was born in 1987. All right, why don't you think of some numbers in your life and try practicing them the same way? Okay, and now let's practice some sentences using abbreviations and numbers. I went to work at 9:15 and came home at 5:45. I went to work at 9:15 and came home at 5:45. Flight 507 left LAX at 7:25. Flight 507 left LAX at 7:25. This CD costs $19.99. This CD costs $19.99. He was born in LA in 1987. He was born in LA in 1987. When they got married, he was 31 and she was 29. When they got married, he was 31 and she was 29. Remember, in abbreviations and in numbers, the last element gets stressed. Let's learn one final rule about word stress. In some cases, any word can be stressed if you have a good reason for stressing it, if you want to emphasize it for some reason. For example, you can say, "This is the best ice cream I've ever had." Or you can say, "This is the best ice cream I've ever had." "This is the biggest dog I've ever seen." There is a reason why you want to emphasize it, to put more emotion in it, or to make sure people really understand your point. But be careful, don't do that too much, because in regular conversations you will say, this is the best ice cream I've ever had. You can also do that with had, which is a content word, and that's what Americans often do. They say, I love your new car. You don't have to say, I love your new car. You can say, I love your new car. So remember, that last element in general tends to get the most stress. However, there is room for some creativity there. Let me give you another reason that you would use special emphasis. For example, if I say to you, you don't smoke, do you? And you can tell me, I used to smoke. I don't smoke now, but I used to smoke. In that case, we emphasize used to. Or if I say to you, you will not go there tomorrow night, right? You're not going tomorrow. You can say, I will go. I will go. So there's a special reason why you're saying will. You're kind of emphasizing or disagreeing with what I'm saying. All right, for one more example, if I say to you, do you speak French or German? You can say to me, I speak French and German. Repeat after me. I speak French and German. Let's try one sentence like that, and let's see how the stress changes depending on the meaning that we wish to convey. Let's look at this sentence. I will drive to the beach next week. That's the normal way you would say it. Listen again. I will drive to the beach next week. However, you can change that. You can say, I will drive to the beach next week. Not he. I will drive to the beach. Or you can say, I will drive to the beach. I'm not going to walk and I'm not going to take the bus. I will drive to the beach next week. Or you can say what? I will drive to the beach next week, not to the park. Or you can emphasize next. I will drive to the beach next week, not this week. And finally, if you really want to emphasize that you're saying week, you can put a little more extra stress on the word week. I will drive to the beach next week. So you can see how the stress changes and the meaning changes. So there's the flexibility for you depending on what you're really trying to convey. Let's practice one more sentence in different ways, changing the stress. Let's say this sentence naturally first. Mary made a cake for my birthday. Now, let's say it again, changing the stress. Mary made a cake for my birthday, not Susan. Mary made a cake for my birthday. She didn't buy it. Mary made a cake for my birthday. She didn't make cookies. Mary made a cake for my birthday, not for his birthday. Mary made a cake for my birthday, not for Christmas. Remember, for special emphasis or for clarification, you can stress any word. Let's talk about intonation. Intonation is the going up and down of your voice, the rising and the falling. This is also called pitch. For example, if I say, all right, I can say this as a statement, and I can say, all right, all right. My pitch goes down at the end for a statement, all right. Now, if this is a question, I would say it differently. The word right, the pitch would go up. All right? Listen to the difference again. All right. All right? One is falling intonation and one is rising intonation. Let's try falling intonation and rising intonation on another word. The word hello. There are two different ways we can say hello. I can say hello, falling intonation, hello, nice to meet you. Or I can make the rising intonation, and when I answer the phone, I can say hello. So the pitch goes up. Hello, who's calling? Or hello, nice to meet you. If you're using the wrong intonation, people may be confused about what you're trying to say, and they may misunderstand you or just get the wrong impression. You may sound nervous or insecure and unsure of yourself if your intonation is going up at the end rather than down in statements. So let's practice the falling intonation by saying some very simple sentences that are statements. And remember, a statement is not a question. After we do this, we will learn some rules for intonation with questions. And with questions, sometimes the intonation rises, but not always. Sometimes it goes down, depending on what kind of question it is. But first, let's practice the falling intonation of simple sentences. I like it. Repeat after me. I like it. Have a nice day. My name is Bob. It's cold outside. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm hungry because I haven't eaten all day. Don't confuse stress and intonation. We have learned that for stress, we jump up on the keyword, but then intonation is when you jump up, how you do it. For example, if I say, have a nice day, I'm still going to emphasize the word day, but I'm not going to make my pitch go up. I'm not going to say, have a nice day. I'm going to say, have a nice day. Have a nice day. So my voice is still going down even though I'm stressing the word. The pitch is still down. Very important. All right, let's practice a few more statements. Think of some things that you're feeling right now. I feel good. I'm feeling happy. Today is Monday. I'm going to go to work soon. All right, make some simple sentences, making sure that your voice goes down at the end, that your pitch goes down. Now, let's learn the rules for intonation for questions. We can have either rising or falling intonation when we're making questions, depending on what kind of question it is. There are two different kinds of questions. There are yes-no questions, and there are WH questions. Yes-no questions can be answered by either a yes or a no. For example, are you happy? That's a yes-no question because I can say yes or I can say no. With yes-no questions, the intonation goes up. Are you happy? WH questions are questions that begin with words that have a W and H in them. For example, when, where, why, what, how, and how has a WH as well. These cannot be answered by yes or no. If I say, what's your name? You can't say yes. WH questions have falling intonation. How are you? We don't say, how are you? We say, how are you? I'm fine. Let's practice some more WH questions with falling intonation. How old are you? One more time. How old are you? Where do you live? What do you do? Where were you born? How did you do that? Now, let's practice some questions which are yes-no questions. Remember, intonation goes up. Are you hungry? Did you eat? Did he go? Did you like it? Did you call me? Okay, now we're going to practice some sentences that will have questions with both rising and falling intonation. you will hear pairs of questions. The first one is a yes-no question, and the second one is a WH question. Notice how the intonation changes. Are you angry at me? One more time. Are you angry at me? Why are you angry at me? Why are you angry at me? Is it hot in there? Is it hot in there? Why is it so hot in there? Why is it so hot in there? Did you get there late? Did you get there late? Why did you get there late? Why did you get there late? Have you been to New York? Have you been to New York? How many times have you been to New York? How many times have you been to New York? Did it start? Did it start? What time did it start? What time did it start? Remember, for statements, we use a falling intonation. For yes-no questions, we use a rising intonation. And for WH questions, we use a falling intonation as well. Let's learn about how intonation can change within one sentence. Within one same sentence, the intonation can both rise and fall. Let me give you the rules for that. One rule is when we list items in a series. For example, when you say, I bought chicken, fish, apples, and sugar at the supermarket. Each of those items that you list should have a rising intonation. I bought chicken, fish, apples, and sugar. The last one will have falling intonation. So we go up, 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 down. Let's try that one more time. I bought chicken, fish, apples, and sugar. When you have that rising intonation, people know that that's not the last element. Something more is coming. Apples and sugar. When the intonation goes down, it indicates that we're finished talking. Let's try another example sentence where we list items in a series. I woke up, ate breakfast, and went to work. One more time. I woke up, ate breakfast, and went to work. Let's list some sports that you like to watch or that you like to play. For example, I like to run, to play tennis, and to swim. I like to run, to play tennis, and to swim. Which sports do you like? All right, try to list some things in a series, maybe what you have in your refrigerator today. I have milk, water, butter, and eggs. Let's learn another rule about how intonation can be both rising and falling in one sentence. First, I'm going to say one short sentence two different ways, and I want you to ask yourself, how are they different? I think it's going to rain. I think it's going to rain. How does that feel different? Listen again. I think it's going to rain. I think it's going to rain. If I say it the second way, with my intonation going up, with the pitch going up, it sounds like something else is coming, like I'm not finished speaking. Listen again. I think it's going to rain, but I'm not sure. I think it's going to rain, but I'm not sure. Let's practice another sentence. I'd love to eat that. Repeat after me. I'd love to eat that. Intonation goes down. Listen to this. I'd love to eat that. Okay, something else is coming. I'd love to eat that, but I'm on a diet. I'd love to eat that, but I'm on a diet. All right, let's try one more. Give me your number. Give me your number. If you give me your number, I'll call you. If you give me your number, I'll call you. So to indicate that you're not finished, that you have something more to say, let your pitch go up at the end of the first part of your sentence. That way the listeners will be ready. It's kind of like having a comma and knowing that the thought is just partially finished. Also, with introductory words, we use rising intonation. Introductory words are words like on the other hand, or however, or in my opinion. It's something you put in the beginning of a sentence, usually followed by a comma. Let's practice that. On the other hand, maybe I'll go. On the other hand, I'll take the blue one. If you ask me, I think you did a good job. If you ask me, I think you did a good job. Let's practice one more introductory phrase. If I were you. If I were you, I would talk to him. If I were you, I would talk to him. Rising and falling intonation is also used when you're giving someone a choice. Should I call you or send you an email? Do you like chicken or beef? Does he have green eyes or blue eyes? Is he a young man or an old man? Now, let's practice all of these things in sentences. Are you married or single? Are you married or single? They have 4 children, ages 7, 9, 11, and 14. They have 4 children, ages 7, 9, 11, and 14. I went to the gym, came home, and called my friend. I went to the gym, came home, and called my friend. As far as I know, I'm not allergic to anything. As far as I know, I'm not allergic to anything. According to the weather report, it's going to rain. According to the weather report, it's going to rain. Remember, rising intonation when you're not finished speaking and you have something more to say, and then falling intonation at the end of your sentence.